Hello book lovers, and welcome to my pocket of joy. So today I thought I'd talk to you about my self-published debut novel, Constellation. Here it is. I thought it would be nice to start with that before going to other projects that I might have in regards to writing. So I'll just divide this video in like 3 parts. The first one, what is this basically all about? Then secondly, I'll talk about, the whole writing context and why I decided to self-publish. And number 3, what comes next? Constellation is the story of Celine. She was raised by her grandparents and grew up in a lighthouse overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. She was born with a birthmark in the shape of a crescent moon on the corner of her eye, and develops very soon a sort of condition that makes her hair become completely white, really like Snow White. And of course, as if these attributes were not enough for people, especially classmates and such, to make fun of her, she is a big bookworm. People don't understand why you spend your time at recess reading instead of playing the little games other people of your age play, I guess. So at the time of the story, she is 25 years of age. She's just finished studying in Paris and in Edinburgh, and has come back to the little village in Brittany and taken over the library of the village. She's unhappy, doesn't have much contact to anybody except her grandparents, and naturally this is when everything changes. One day she wakes up with a sort of birthmark, although it cannot be, in the shape of a star just below her moon crescent. And well, that's odd, but soon, her daily life, she forgets about it. And as she walks in the evening by the cliffs in front of the lighthouse, she is kind of swallowed by a huge wave and teleported to the moon. And this is where she kind of realizes, or people tell her actually, that she is a part of a prophecy that tells of a young woman with white hair who will save the world from a big enemy. And this hero or heroine, do you say that? I don't know, I feel like you can think it's something else. Anyway, you just understood me. Is named Constellation, just like a title that we give her, instead of, no, she's not a goddess or a superhero heroine, she's just like the Constellation, and this is why the title was named like that, and for other reasons that you might find out if you read it. This is a story about a shy, unhappy person who's never done anything else basically but read, and is told that she needs to save the moon in order to save the earth. There is an element of Greek mythology in this story. I mean, we hear about Zeus, who's actually the big threat of this story, about Artemis, a little bit of all the others as well, but mainly these two. Zeus, being the threat, actually what he wants to do is destroy all human life on Earth, because he believes that humans are actually just a threat to their planet and to themselves as well, actually. And the whole story revolves about the responsibility of Celine, in which she has to choose if humans are worth saving. And I guess that's a huge problematic, because does she have the right to make that choice, basically? And in this quest, let's say, although she always stays in the same place, basically, she's helped by friends that she meets along the way, among which is a person who turns into an animal. No, not a werewolf, although there are werewolves in this story. But this character turns into another kind of animal. I won't tell you which one. And it turns basically into the best friend of Celine, which she didn't have until now. And it's a huge help for her. Yeah, that's basically it about my book. I don't want to do any spoilers, basically. I didn't write this book with the intention of publishing it, really. I wrote it at a time of my life with the sense that it would be a therapy for me, because basically before that I've been writing or trying to write a novel for years, basically. I began writing it when I was 12 years old, and I loved it, and I loved the story. I still do, actually, but I grew up, and you know, this phase between 12 and 20, 23 is a huge gap, and you develop so much of your personality that every year that I wanted to continue writing it, I would begin reading what I'd written before and think, oh my god, that is so childish, you know, or I wouldn't like it as much. The problem was I was so fond of how I started writing it that I would always change it, but never really managed to detach myself from the beginning, and you know, it would drag and drag and drag, and for years I tried to finish this book, and it was so difficult for me. And I reached a stage where I couldn't write anything else, anything at all. And at the age of 25, 26, finally, I decided to let it go. The ideas suddenly came to me like they had been waiting that I would let the other one go, you know. And yeah, so this book, I wrote it in a sort of frenzy on a typewriter every day for 3 months. And that was the first draft. There was just this wish to finish a novel, finally, in order to be able to write something else. So publishing it last year was the result of a whole process of meeting the right people. So I'd given Constellation to read to a friend I'd made, and she loved it. And she knew someone who basically does, as a side job, to read books, edit them, give an opinion, correct them grammatically, and stuff like that. And I sent the book to her, and she was so over the moon, which is fitting for this book, with my story, that she helped me edit the book, make it better, and basically for me to self-publish. And I'm so grateful I met these people, because I think I would never have done it without them. And I decided to publish this book as a self-published author for one main reason, basically, which was it is very small. I mean, you see how thin it is. it's like around 50,000 words, and I think for a young adult fantasy you basically need to have between 70 to 100,000 words to make it count, and for a publishing company to actually want to publish your book, which this didn't have. I think I could have made it longer. Now that I think about it, there are ways I could have made it longer, but at the time it didn't feel right. I loved my story as it was, and I thought that, you know, trying to self-publish it and you know, have a feedback of sorts would help me with future novels. So this is like kind of a test run, and I've had only positive reviews, really. I mean, there are probably negative reviews, but they've never come to me to talk to me about it, so I don't know about them. Which is, I don't know if it's nice, because I would love to have the negative reviews as well, so that I could know what I can change and improve upon. But yeah, positive reviews. And now the question, what comes next? And even though this is a test run, I felt that it could have a sequel. I mean, I wouldn't do it a trilogy. I think a duology is enough. If you've read it, you know that the story can actually finish with this book. It doesn't need more. But I thought it could be developed into something more. And this is what I'm doing. I am currently writing the sequel. I'm still at the beginning, but hopefully I'll have it done by next year, and I'll self-publish it as well, because I thought, you know, if this one self-published, the other one as well. And to see how much I've evolved from the first novel to the second one as well. It would mean so much to me. I would be so grateful if you would give it a chance. Those who have and have reported back to me loved it, so I guess it wouldn't take too much of your time or your money. So yeah, links are below. Forgot to mention that this book was originally written in French, so it means it's also available in French, whether it's on paperback or on ebook as well. I have the intention of translating it in other languages, but I think at this point writing the sequel and other stories is more important to me at the moment. And yeah, so it's in English and in French, and as I said, the links are down below in the description. As this is the first day of summer, at least the first official day of summer, because I mean it's really grey out there, I don't want to waste any much of your time with this video. I hope you loved it, or at least liked it a tiny little bit. If you did, give it a little thumbs up. And if you want to know what other videos I have in store for you, hit the subscribe button. So I hope you have a lovely weekend. Take care. Remember to always be kind. Toodaloo!